My name is Todd Kipp. I'm a filmmaker from Canada, and my last film, Computer Potato, just got into the Alberta Spirit Gala. At the Calgary International Film Festival. And the film itself it's a short film. It's about 12 minutes long. It's about a young man who works from home, and he's pretty wired. He communicates with people just online and doesn't really have any human interaction. So one day, the office, they send him a message saying, "We need you to start working at the office." And he panics, and he has to go out into the real world, and he feels like he has so much anxiety about it that he feels like he has to touch every single person he sees visually. And so then it goes from there. I mean, he's basically trying to get out of this wired world and get back into the human world and make connections with human beings and not just be wired anymore.
Yeah, that's a funny premise. So how long did you take to write the script, and what was the process like? That process like for you? Was it really quick?
It probably took a good 5 or 10 minutes to write. I don't remember. It's one of those things, you know, when you're writing, sometimes I forget what I write, so I need to write it down. You know, when you think of ideas in your head as well, sometimes time passes, and unless I write them down, I forget that I even came up with the idea. But for Computer Potato, I think the original idea came from, where did it come from? I just like the idea of someone feeling like they have to touch everybody that they see. Right. And so it developed from that into someone being trapped in this wired world in their apartment and then needing to make a human connection. Right. I think it kind of developed from that. Yeah, it's kind of strange.
So you pretty much wrote it in one go, and few minutes, half a day or something like that, and you type everything. Right? I'm talking about the script that you used to actually shoot, not just the idea, right?
Yeah, I mean, I write pretty quickly. Like when I have an idea and I sit down, the ideas just tend to write themselves. And then of course you rewrite and you edit and you refine and develop. But the basic ideas are kind of like there instantly.
Right, cool. So how did you find your cast? There are 3 main leads, judging from the still photos that you post.
It was tricky. With this one, I really wanted to find really solid actors. And I wanted to find actors that really fit the roles for those characters. So we put out a pretty broad casting notice across a lot of cities in North America. Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, I think Los Angeles, and maybe even New York. And then
that's a lot.
It was crazy. So we had about 3,000 submissions. We narrowed those down, and then by the end we got about a few hundred video submissions per role. So we had no live auditions, only submissions. And we just basically went off those submissions, narrowed it down to a few, and then had some people do a second audition, callback, and then just narrowed it down from there.
So the second audition, because I know some of the cast from out of town, so do you do it by video like this, like in the interview that we are doing, or you just ask them, can you read this scene and then make a video? What was that?
Yeah, I gave them some notes, and they just submitted a second video. In the past, I've Skyped with actors before, but this time I just wanted to keep it a level playing field for everybody, so they just submitted a second video audition. And the funny thing is then when they all came to town, some of them had never met each other before, so we only had a couple days to rehearse and then get into it. But because they're really solid actors and professionals, they were able to get into it right away. And I think the dynamics and the chemistry between everybody really stands out in the film. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So, by the way, another question on that. So, did you actually, before you finally picked the 3, did you actually go on the web and look at some other stuff that they did before, or like watch more, or no? Yeah,
actually,
you pretty much decided by then.
Yeah, I hadn't. I didn't see anything that anybody had been in, just their video auditions. I think because I wanted to see what they were envisioning for that character was coming from that audition, not previous work. You know what I mean?
Right,
I had a lot of actors who had read the script, actors I knew who really wanted to play those roles, but I couldn't just give them the role because I knew them and they were friends or something like that. I really wanted to find the right actor for each role.
Right. So what do you think attract them to the role with thousands of submissions? Like, did you guys pay big bucks, or was it a script? What was the deal there?
It's always tricky with independent films and independent short films. But when I advertised for the film, I did state that I would pay union rates. So even though it was only a 2-day shoot, or 3 days in the case of Almiro, I still wanted to pay them for those 2 or 3 days at union rates, that they're being treated properly, they're being paid properly, and we're going at it in a professional capacity, even though it's an independent film, Right. Like not just we have no money, it's a no budget, everybody's volunteering, we're eating crackers, you know what I mean? Like we're trying to approach it in a professional manner and do our best in front of the camera, behind the camera, and as we promote it even now, and going into festivals, and try to make it worth everybody's while at the end of the day,
Right. Speaking about budget, I understand you got some grants from different government agencies and also crowdfunding. Can you talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah. Here in Alberta and in Canada, we have the National Film Board, and there's a program called the Filmmakers
Assistant Program?
That is correct. It's called the FAP or FAP. So then you forget what it stands for. But yeah, Filmmaker Assistance Program. And my last 3 films received that, which is nice, but it's a really small amount. And so we got that small amount, and then we also did some crowdfunding, not through Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but a third one called Helpers Unite, which no longer exists because they were too small and got pushed out. But when we were gearing up for this film, a friend of mine worked there, and she suggested, well, why don't you try Helpers Unite? And I said, okay, I'll give it a shot, even though I was a bit weary on crowdfunding, because at the end of the day, you're asking your friends and your family, co-workers, and you're like, hey, can you help me out again? And can you help donate some more money? So it was tricky. We think we received just over $3,000 from that, which was nice. And then a couple thousand more from the National Film Board. So we had a good starting point. But of course, when you want to prepare a film in a professional context, it takes a lot more than that, not just a few $1,000s.
Right. Did you have to promise your firstborn son or daughter to the funders, or do you give them DVD or digital download? What was that? Briefly.
Yeah, I think there was some promises made, but the sad thing is now that the company no longer exists, I can't even go back on their website to see what I owe people. If they donated a certain amount, do I owe them a DVD? If they donated a certain amount, am I supposed to get them tickets to a screening? Unfortunately, that information is lost, and so.
Well, this may turn into a call for any people who contribute to you. Like, now you get those. Make sure you get those.
I know. Right. Their names are in the credits, and they are thanked on the website as well. The website for it is computerpotato.ca because it's a Canadian film. Right. But yeah, of course, I deeply appreciate all the donations that did come in, even though it was a while ago and some of them were forgotten.
Obviously, kidding aside. So on the other side, the crew, did you end up paying everyone on the crew, or like most short films or small budget film, you get your friends and you help them and they help you? What was that like?
It's kind of a mix on this one. I wanted to try to pay as many people or most people and pay them a decent rate as well moving forward. So people like our cinematographer and camera assist, and these people,
editors,
they all got paid something. And then moving forward, like we're about to shoot another film coming up, I try to approach those same people because you try to build relationships with everybody and make a little family. And so if they weren't paid on the last one, which wasn't too many people, then I tried to set it up for this next one, which I got the AFA grant for, which is more money. And so now I can pay them, and I pay them properly as well.
Cool.
It's just really important, there's only so many times you can ask favors of people, and you want to help them. I mean, they need to make money, they need to earn a living.
Right. So before I forget, what was it like directing Charles, Natalie, and Michael, the three main lead. What was it like in this case? Did you pretty much a few takes and then done, or you really want to get the nuances? What was it like on the set?
It was interesting. The way it worked out was Natalie Moon was the first actor cast, and she submitted her video audition, and she was just right. All her delivery, her nuances and performance, even in the one video audition, were so perfect that she was cast first. And then, strangely enough, when Al Miro submitted his video audition, I could hear in the background the other actor reading with him. I thought, is that Natalie Moon? And it was just by coincidence that they knew each other, and they were both living in Vancouver at the time. And it just worked out that, yeah, it was really bizarre.
Yeah.
But it worked out that in our favor, in their favor, because they knew each other, they had a good rapport, and they had a good relationship already. But also, they're very strong actors, and they were the right actor for each role. So it was kind of unbelievable. They're out of Vancouver, even though Natalie's originally from England and Al's originally from Italy.
Right. So not much major tweak on set for you. Like since they got pretty much the role, the essence of the role, if I may say. Then like a few goes and then done. Next scene.
Yeah. Casting is really key. I think if you cast the right actors in the first place, then I think 90% of your work is done.
Yeah, it's
I like working with actors a Lot.
Yeah, it's the cleanest wood approach, I guess. To find the right people, one take, done, move on.
Yeah. Strange enough, when we were running out of time, in a few instances, I do remember Al doing one take of quite long scenes, and every single reaction, delivery of the lines was so perfect. That was it. We could have done a second take for safety, but it was perfect, and we just moved on a couple of times. Yeah. So the acting was solid all around from everybody. It's pretty amazing.
As a Calgarian, we're both Calgarians. I have to work some Calgary questions at it. I love seeing some of the Calgary scenes in the still pictures and the like Calgary Transit bus in it. So talk a little bit about shooting in Calgary Street and the bus. I think the bus you have to have the budget has to cover the bus rental and stuff.
Yeah, we rented the bus from the city of Calgary. And that was a very long day.
Was it expensive? Was it expensive rental?
I think it was about
give a good rate.
I think it was about $1,250, like $1,250 for the day that we used it. But they were very accommodating as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we were lucky with a lot of people and a lot of companies that helped us out, and they might have. I think they gave us a discounted rate.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right. And shooting in Calgary Street, were people pretty cool, or like they stand around the set and like gawking and like
it was kind of both. We shot right downtown.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right on 8th Avenue.
The bay, right near the bay. Some of the columns. I noticed.
Yeah, we shot right outside the Hudson's Bay Company, and so we did give them a small fee as well.
Oh, you did
to shoot outside that space. Not too much, and they were pretty nice about it too. So we got to shoot there in the morning. We shot on the bus, driving around Calgary on the bus with a lot of extras. And you'll see the skyline of Calgary in the film, and you'll see some other locations in there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the stills, I spy some of the green screen and whatnot. So without spoiling anything, would it like special effects or extensive special effects in some of the scenes? What was that for? I mean, without spoiling anything, right? I mean.
Yeah, Brock Roberts. Brock Roberts, he was the editor on it, and he also did all the visual effects. And he did an enormous amount of work, because even though it seems like it's a fairly simple film and fairly straightforward, a lot of the visuals needed enhancement, and so he was adding stuff all the time. There is some green screen, there's some speed bumps, there's some slow motion, there's color grading, there's text on the screen, there's all kinds of stuff, and all of that takes a lot of time to build and put in there. So yeah, it was fun doing the green screen. We actually shot that at Brookfield Residential, which is the company where I work. So again, we got permission to shoot in the building and shot in the front and in the elevator. And again, if you were actually coming to the building, you probably wouldn't recognize where we shot because it was green screened and because we built a false wall and so on and so on.
So the green screen is to make everything realistic, but in the way that you want, or it's a fantasy, like again, without spoiling anything, right?
Yeah, there's a few things going on. I mean, I wanted the main character Charles to live right in the heart of downtown, but say on the 30th floor of some apartment building, so that his view is just other apartment buildings. He basically has no skyline. He has no sky to look at.
Oh, okay, right.
All it is up concrete and steel. So he's just basically in this cage up on this 30th floor. So when you see out his window, all it is buildings.
Right.
So there's no view, and so to get that. That's why we put the green screen in there.
Right. Okay, I see. So another question: you guys use the red camera to shoot it, right? Was it like what was the experience like? What model? I mean, I'm not a big techie, but let me throw that out for the techies out there who are watching this.
We were lucky because Aaron Bernakovich, he was the cinematographer. He worked on the previous film that we had done called Blue Eyed Boy, and they shot that on the Red 1. And then now when we moved to Computer Potato, Aaron had the Red Epic, so we shot on the Red Epic, and we had some good lenses, and I think he might have used some of his Red Primes, but I think mostly we used some older lenses, specifically cinematography lenses, camera lenses. It was good. I mean, the picture quality is amazing. And that comes through, and I wanted more of that immediate look, that kind of raw look that comes with a film look, and Red can provide something very similar compared to maybe some other cameras. But the technology is getting so crazy these days that, you know, every month there's a newer and better camera that gets closer to film and gets closer to what people are looking for.
Cool. Yeah. So you've made a few films before, right? I want to ask you as a filmmaker, what was the progress like for you? I mean, it'd be great that you are all perfect all along, but I'm sure there are some growth and lessons learned so for the last few films. What was that progression like for you?
Well,
that journey for you? Briefly.
There's a few lessons learned. Yeah, I mean, you go from film to film, and you see the mistakes you made, and you see the things you can improve upon. And even after Computer Potato, for example, we sat down and said, okay, what were the problems with this production, and what can we avoid for next time? But starting from my earliest work, and I made my first film in Los Angeles, and we shot that on the Canon XL2 Mini DV. And so you go from the quality of that thinking, okay, the next one's we got to shoot on a better camera, better sound, better editing. You just, from project to project, the production value gets better. You figure out that, you know, like on this one, I really wanted all the acting to be really stand out so that it's not even a consideration. You just believe everything that happens on the screen. So you make sure like every cast member is solid, the production value is solid, you know, the sound composition, the post-production on sound, the composer, Stuart McQuarrie, was he did the sound or the music for Blue Eyed Boy and Computer Potato. And then we just shot a little Toyota commercial, and he's doing that as well. So you build this little family, right? You get... You work with these people, you develop good relationships, and then you want to just keep going to the next project. And then hopefully all your careers just start to go up together, you know? I mean, it's fun. It's fun working with the same people, and you have a good relationship, and you don't have to worry about anything most of the time.
Yeah, that's so. My friend Spencer is in the competition this year too. So are you guys the gladiator type, to beat up each other to death, and then whoever left is going to win, or what was it like?
No, I'm sincerely happy for whoever does win, and with grants and with festivals, we're just really happy to get in. And happy that the film can be seen by a lot of the cast and crew, which are local and family and friends, and they can all see it on the big screen for the first time with a full audience. Because I think this theater holds 450 people, and the staff at CIFF said that it sells out every year, this particular gala. So that means a lot. Just being able to see it with a full audience like that, and having it the full cinematic experience, seeing the audience's reaction, maybe get some comments from them afterwards about what they liked and what worked and what didn't work. So winning the competition is not really on my mind in the least, and whoever wins, that, you know, I'm very happy for them. If we do win, However, it always helps the film, and it always helps your career that much more, right? We're all trying to go further up, I'm sure, and work on features, and then try to have a proper career in the film industry. So every little bit helps.
Yeah. Uh, Let me step back a little. So when did you get interested in making film? Like, were you very young and want to make film already? What was the first time you thought, hey, I want to make a film?
I don't know. It's strange. I mean, I guess I've always been a huge fan of film, and I've always watched films my whole life. And I've always been creative. I think a lot of the people that work in these industries are always creative in different mediums. And so I used to be in a band. I was a singer in a band, and I also played tambourine. And but I used to write all the lyrics in that band. So that was, you do these different things. And I used to write short stories, and I used to write for newspapers and magazines, and it all just kind of came together that film was the right medium to kind of pull from all these different other mediums. And I think I wrote my first script with a friend of mine quite a while ago, Colin Snowsell, and we wrote a feature, and we got some feedback on it, and then we just sort of left it. And then from there, I just continued writing on my own, and it just seemed like shorts would be a good stepping stone. You cut your teeth and you figure out how to make a film before you go to a feature film.
When was that big long script, or when was that first? Like 10 years, 5 years ago?
Yeah, it was a while ago. And then in 2003, I moved to Los Angeles, and I went to the Screenwriters Expo, and I started there. And so I was meeting people in the industry, and of course everybody goes there, and you're young, and you're all trying to like work in film, and you find actors, and you find producers and grips, and you all just start working on each other's projects. And so I made a little film down there called Pocket Change in 2004. And then we had a screening down there and had a screening up here at the Uptown when the Uptown was still around. And, you just go from there. You go from one project to the next project and you just keep improving. And it's fulfilling that way. You just see that your work is getting stronger and your action's getting better. And, then you get into the Alberta Spirit Gala, and sky's the limit.
Right. Yeah, well, let me wish you and the crew and the cast the best of luck, Todd. So, thanks a lot for your time and being interviewed by me.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll see you at the gala.
All right, see you.
Okay, ciao.